Hi everybody, I'm glad you're with us for this week's show. I feel like one of those weather reporters that's standing out in a hurricane doing a live report. We've got howling winds this week to work around, and I hope we're able to get you some fish, show you how to catch a few out in that much wind. I'm glad you're with us from far south Texas. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Hi everybody, I'm so glad you joined us for this week's episode because we get to do something this week that not everybody gets to do and happens very few times. We are going to be introducing for the first time a brand new brand of saltwater bay skiff boats. This is the brand new line of Mamba boats being introduced by my very good friends for many years, Jim and Jared Poole, down at Waypoint Marine in Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, as you can see, this is just a gorgeous boat. It is tricked out with all the nice stuff, and it's got some features built into this boat that you won't find in any other bay saltwater boat. And we're going to explain a lot more about that this week because my good friend Jim Poole is going to be jumping in the boat with me to help explain some of the features of this boat, and hopefully we're going to catch some fish. And to do that, we're taking you with us out on Port Mansfield, Texas. Now this is a place that's loaded with speckled trout and redfish and flounder. I don't know what we're going to catch today, but we're going to be presented with a very difficult challenge. We've got straight line 35-mile-an-hour winds blowing right now. As you can see, I'm even having trouble standing up. We're having trouble holding the camera still. It is howling out there today. But we're going to put this Mamba to the test, see how it handles rough water, and hopefully we'll find a few fish, show those to you this week. And while we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays right where you live, both fresh and salt water. So right now, the brand new Mamba production model #1 goes down the boat ramp. We get it launched. Next time you see me, I'll be with Jim Poole, hopefully reeling in some kind of a fish. Right now, let's get it all started back at the studio and your weekend planner.
Hey everybody, these Saltwater tables are showing poor fishing conditions on Saturday and fair activity on Sunday. Peak daytime action begins at 9:36 on Saturday and 10:14 on Sunday morning. The best evening action will begin around 9:49 on Saturday and 10:23 Sunday night. Depending on your local area, expect the sun to rise around 7:34 and set around 6:54. Evenings will have a moon that is 84% visible. Stay tuned. When we return, we'll have fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Brock Mosley to answer this week's Ask the Pro question. Stick with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lou's. Feel the difference. Waypoint Customs. Customize your boat your way. Strike King. Tie one on. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties. Makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
What's a keeper redfish? I don't know.
20 inches.
20 inches.
Yep.
Well, that would be a keeper.
Right at the keeper, yeah.
So there you go.
Barry?
You got a fish?
Yep. There we go.
Hey, it's a trout.
Yep.
Look at that.
We're out here red fishing, catching nice trout. Look at that.
Look at here. Bring it in here. There we go.
There we go.
There's the start. We came red fishing and we caught a trout. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to see you're with us. Well, we've made it out today on a really windy day down at Port Mansfield, Texas. And we actually came out here to catch some redfish today. We've heard that the red fishing down here has just been really good. But a trout is the first fish. We're with my longtime 40-year-old 40-year friendship, one of my best buddies, Jim Poole. And as we mentioned during the open, we're out here today to reveal for the very first time Jim's lifelong dream and Jim's family, the Poole family's lifelong dream, and that's to introduce a brand new boat line. So we're out here for for the very first time in the new Mamba 24-foot boat. Jim, first thing I want to know is just after 40 years of developing boats and running boats and tweaking and trying to figure all this out, to come out with this boat, what's your feeling right now? What does it feel like?
Oh, Barry, I'm so proud of it and proud of Jared and our whole family. Like you say, this is a lifetime in the making here. A lot of hours on the water, a lot of fishing, a lot of the little detail stuff. We put a whole lifetime of ideas into this one boat right here.
Well, between Jim and his son Jared that introduced this boat and developed and engineered this machine, they've got 80 plus years of fishing experience, of selling boats, servicing boats, running boats, fishing tournaments, fishing saltwater. And to come out with this boat, this is the very first one. This is model number 1 out of the mold.
Serial number 1.
And I will tell you, we've already run it in some dang rough water, and it is a solid machine. We're going to talk some more about this boat, some of what makes this boat different than every other bay boat skiff out there.
Hi everyone, Captain Greg Varm here, bringing you another Texas Coastal Fishing Report. I tell you, this past week we've had some near perfect weather, tide movements, and lots of hungry fish. Let's start with Freeport, Texas. Some of my trips I ran this week were out of Bays Landing over in Freeport. We're fishing the bays and they're producing reds and specks. A drum, bass trop, and chocolate bays, they're all in good shape as far as water clarity. The water temps, they're in the mid to upper 70s early in the morning. Hey, the specks, they're holding over a shell on mid-bay reefs. The reds, they're tight to the grass lines near drains. Using live shrimp for the trout and mullet for the redfish. Now over in Galveston, hey, the bull red run, it's in full throttle. 18 to 28 foot of water, using almost any bait you choose, fished along the bottom around the Galveston Jetties channel area. If you want to fish Galveston or Freeport with me or my team, hey, give me a call, check out our websites, and remember we have affordable lodging at Bays Landing. Right on the waterfront, boat will pick you up right downstairs. Hey, give me a call. Captain Greg Varm, see you next week.
There's one on the popping cork.
What'd you do?
I got one on the popping cork. I finally tried to maybe see if we could get some noise up there, so I put on a popping cork with a little gulp under it.
We've really got conditions today, and we got bad wind, 25, 30 miles an hour, and we've got muddy water conditions for down here. This is usually fairly clear water. Force him back this way as much as you can.
Yeah, this might be a red. That's a little red.
Little red, yep.
Little red. No.
I think it is.
That's what that popping cork
Yeah,
will
it's a
do.
red.
It'll attract it. You want to get that one for me, Barry?
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and slide him in the net just to corral him.
That popping cork will attract them just because in this muddy water, when we get in this muddy water.
Well, that's what we've got. We've got very challenging conditions today.
Not a giant, but that's a good redfish.
Yep. What's a keeper redfish? I don't know.
20 inches.
20 inches.
Yep.
Well, that would be a keeper.
That's right at the keeper, yeah.
So there you go.
Slide him. That's what we actually come down here looking for.
So that hit a popping cork with a scented shrimp imitation right there. It's got a lot of scent in it. One other quick thing, while we've got time, is the interesting thing that I have found about this Mamba, just in the time that we fished in it yesterday and today, is all the little detail stuff, and there's no way we can run through all of them in just the short time we've got, but you've got a website that's going to detail all the details. But name me 2 or 3 of your favorite little tricks of this boat.
Well, number one, every compartment in this boat has a rubber seal special hatch. We looked at a dozen different types till we found the right one. They've got the brass hinges, friction hinges that will stay in one place, and they lock down every compartment, the anchor locker, the bait wells, the rigging box, everything is dry. And then we raise this
dry
floor.
storage that's truly dry.
True dry storage. And then we raise the floor on this boat 2.5 inches to get it up and make the floor truly dry. We're 2.5 inches above the scuppers on the outside.
So you've got a downhill gravity drain. Every drop of water that comes in this boat goes right out the back. We've not had a drop of water inside the boat or in any of the dry boxes. It's a truly dry boat.
We've been in some rough water, and water, like right now, normally this water would be pushing back up those scuppers and be watering the floor. We don't have anything.
That's cool. Another trout.
Another trout.
Can you believe that?
There's a few trout up here in this flat, isn't there? Yes, sir.
Fish on. There we go. Got him, Jim.
There you go.
Another trout.
Another trout.
Can you believe that?
There's a few trout up here in this flat, isn't there? Yes, sir.
Gonna flop him in.
Nice little trout.
Yeah, there we go.
Way to go.
Look at that. Welcome back, everybody. We're fishing today at Port Mansfield, Texas. That one hit my little Strike King Rage Tail swimmer right there with a couple of grass pieces on it. Fishing today with Jim Poole out of his house, actually, down here at Port Mansfield. That's a decent fish. We're gonna let him slide right back in the water there. See you, buddy. 2 questions for you, Jim. Jim lives in the area, fishes here all the time. So we had this giant cold wave and it made the water super cold back early in 2021.
Yep.
Now that some time has passed, looking back on it, how bad was the fish kill here?
It was pretty bad, Barry. I've heard estimates from 50 to all the way up to 80% trout killed, but it was bad. We had thousands of trout lined up and down the banks and everything, but there's still trout to be caught. You're just not going to go out there and just catch them every cast up here in these flats, especially like right now. We're kind of looking for redfish, so we're up in this 1.5 feet of water, and this is the ones that a lot of them got killed.
Wow. Well, you know, we're 2 for 2 on trout right now, so that's not bad. Jim, and second question is about the Mamba boat here. So again, maiden voyage, finally got to get it out and run it a little bit.
First trip.
What is it that separates the hull of this boat from nearly every other bay boat out there?
Well, this boat is a V-hull boat with a stepped aeration rear hull. What it does, the boat actually comes back and then it steps up and goes back. That breaks the water flow, and it makes it aerate and breaks the vacuum off the back of the bottom of the boat. Now this particular boat's a little different. It has the step hull to break the vacuum, which lets it run more efficiently, a little faster, but it also has a pad design, kind of like the bass boats have. Once you get past the step and you get up and really running, you can get it up on that pad.
And that's probably over 50 miles an hour, and then it kind of gets up on that back pad, and literally it'll run just like a bass boat, and you can run it at pretty high speeds if you want. So it really combines the best of having that V-hull, breaking those waves, with the pad design that lets you run fast, all in the same hull. That's the cool thing about the Mamba. Let's catch another fish.
Let's do it.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Phantom Deer Blinds. Now Phantom's one-piece design makes them insect-proof, weather-proof, and scent-proof. And they do come with available towers if that's an option you'd like to pursue. Now this week we're going to start at Lake Fork, world famous for its big bass. And right now, you're going to be wanting to follow the shad, which have moved up into the creeks. You're going to go about halfway back into creeks, fish from 10 feet of water or less, and use those moving baits we like so much. Your topwaters early in the morning, then transition to your Cincos and your spinner baits and even your Texas rigs. Now out at Whitney, they've got a great striper bite. The population exploded a few years ago. Now those fish are fully grown and ready to eat. So go out to Cedron or Towash or the willows around the main lake and throw your big topwaters, your saltwater style baits like red fins and your big pencil poppers. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Be sure and look us up on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Louisiana report for Let's Fish this week. I tell you what, coming to you from Cajun Paradise Charters right here in Hackberry, Louisiana. Personally, I've been going offshore catching a lot of cobia here lately, most of them in the 30 to 50 pound range. We've been catching lots of nice calm days, been running out there and doing awesome on those. Snapper season is also open in Louisiana with the limit 4 per person. Main thing, have your safety equipment, be safe if you do go offshore. Real quick on the freshwater side, Lake Bissano, they're doing a drawdown, concentrating on lots of bass and lots of really good ones. Tell you what, fishing will be great, but if you catch some big ones, practice catch and release. For Old Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard for this week's Let's Fish report. Happy fishing, may God bless.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS Anchor. The tour is back. Blazer, high-performance boats for high-performance anglers.
Oh, I've always believed in it. I tell you, if you're going to be on your spot, be there on the major feet.
You got one?
Yep, I think that's a red too, Barry.
Got a fish on, all right.
He's shaking his head like a big old red.
Yeah, and he hasn't jumped. If it were a trout, it would jump. We've been catching these trout this morning, and I'm hoping that we actually catch a decent redfish here.
Yep, I saw the red flash.
Good.
Coming at the boat here. He's not a giant.
Little small redfish.
Small
It's
one.
all right. It's the right species.
Got a little bit of small. Oh, let's get there. All right, well, now we got
Well,
a biting
It's the
anyway.
right species anyway. Hey, let's talk just a second about the feeding tables. Step down here. I know that all the guides and the tournament fishermen and the locals just absolutely depend upon the salooner tables and the feeding tables. There's an app, I guess, on your phone that you use, and
Yep.
and tell me about your
Several of them.
experience of how accurate it is and how it's playing out even today.
Oh, it definitely, we use it all the time. There's 2 majors and 2 minor feeding periods. And if you look on the app, it'll show the peaks, and they're about 2 hours long between each one. And that's when they feed. I mean, the guides, the local fishermen, they all use it. Even today, we've been out here a couple of hours. We just hit the one of the major feeding areas, and we get that bite. So.
Right. Well, and even you said that it'll give you an overview of the day as well. And today was a real low feeding time, so we expect it to be tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Oklahoma has dozens of small city lakes and other small bodies of water that really do serve up some quality fishing, and I hope that you'll try some of these out this fall. A good example of one is Claremore Lake. Right on the outskirts of the city of Claremore, the lake is nearly 500 acres, a beautiful body of water, and it does serve up some really good fishing, especially for bass and for crappie. Now I stopped by there to see what was going on, and I found Arnold and Kenny fishing off one of the fishing docks. Neither has said they had been there for very long, but Arnold already had 4 nice filletable crappie in his basket, and Kenny had about a 5 or 6 pound blue cat that he had caught hanging on a stringer. Kenny said he also had another pretty nice channel cat that he did release back into the water. Hey, Arnold also had 2 good pieces of advice he wanted to pass along before I departed was. One, he said if you're throwing a bobby girl and baby shad on that lake, it needs to be bluegrass because that works really well there. The other thing was, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Yeah, there's one.
You got fish?
Sonar table.
Unbelievable, Jim. That is unbelievable.
We out here 2 hours, nothing. As soon as we hit that major feed, we started catching fish. This is nicer red. He's not a monster. Oh yeah, he's a nice.
You got your drag set really well.
There he goes. Okay,
We're
Barry.
starting to wear him down now, though.
All right, Barry.
There we
All
go.
right, that's what we're coming
That's a
for.
nice redfish right there, Jim. Way to go.
We called it on that timing, didn't we?
Man, you talked about that salooner table, the feeding period. That's just unbelievable that fish bit right on cue, literally, when the feeding period started. The guides down here just absolutely believe in that, and now Jim Poole.
Oh, I've always believed in it. I tell you, if you're going to be on your spot, be there on the major feed.
So that's really the takeaway from this, is what you want to do is plan your day so that you time it. Can you hold him?
Yeah.
Okay. So that you're on your best spot at the peak of the feeding period or at the beginning.
Right. If I'm off just fishing, not catching fish, when we hit that major feed, I'm going to go to one of my good spots
Right.
for sure.
Let's,
You want to let him go?
Yeah, we'll let him go. But I'm going to show him one more time right there. That's just
Good
a
fish.
gorgeous fish for you right there. Wow, he was ready to go.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Power Pole, total boat control. Visit Mississippi, good times are close by. Low Boats, 50 years of boating craftsmanship. Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. This week, Sheldon would like to know, what is your favorite lake in the world to fish and why? For the answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Brock Mosley.
I would have to give it to Lake Champlain. It may not have the biggest fish in it, you know, your giant 6 to 7 pound fish or bigger, but it's a lake where you can go catch a 5 bass limit of 20 pounds of smallmouth or 20 pounds of largemouth any day of the week. You could have 20 pounds of either or. So it's full of fish, just tons of fish in it, fun, just all around fun place to fish, and you can catch them any way you want to catch them, whether it's deep, shallow, flipping, cranking, drop shotting, any way you want to catch fish on Lake Champlain, you can do it.
Thanks so much, Brock. If you want some help from one of the pros, if you have a question of your own, simply go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit that question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
We have made it safely back to the boat ramp at Port Mansfield, Texas, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Dusty Curry of Crowley, Texas, with an 18 and 23 pound blue catfish he caught at Lake Whitney, Texas.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, here are a couple of pieces of gear you can catch trout and redfish with. This is the Lew's Inshore Speed Stick Rod and Reel Combo. It's got the Lew's Custom Inshore Speed Spool Reel and the Inshore Speed Stick Rod. It is the perfect size, weight, and length for catching all the inshore species like trout, redfish, and flounder. And I've caught tons of these inshore species, redfish, trout, and flounder, on the Strike King Rage Tail Swimmer. It's a little 3 1/4 inch swim bait that'll catch them all over inshore saltwater. William Barrett Travis, one of the defenders of the Alamo that died for what he believed was right, was very frustrated and wrote letters to the American government asking for support. In one of his letters, he said this: "As long as people are prosperous, they do not desire a change." Aren't we all a little bit like that? As long as we're going to the pay window regularly, we're ready to let a lot of things go on principle, turn our head the other way. But you let something start affecting our vacation or that almighty paycheck, and we'll stand real hard on principle. What if, just what if, we all stood on the principles of what's right and what's wrong all of the time, not just when it affects our vacation? As Barrett found out, that's when things really begin to get done. I hope you enjoyed our trip here to Port Mansfield, Texas, and if you'd like to catch some of the speckled trout, redfish, and flounder here, you can do that with Captain Noe Sosa at the contact information you see at the bottom of your screen. And if you'd like to get lots more information about the brand new line of Mamba boats, you can do that at the phone number at Waypoint Marine and the contact information you also see there at the bottom of your screen. I'm Barry Stokes saying, let's fish, everybody. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.